What is going on, guys? Coming at you with another video. Everything's kind of all goofed up right now. This is kind of out of order and I'm kind of confused as to how I'm gonna make these next few videos. I bought a new car. As of right now, I have not even filmed any of the footage of it at all. So you guys don't know, I debuted on Instagram and everything. It's not a BMW, but it is sweet. So I gotta make a video for that. That was supposed to be part of this video, but this video has changed. I filmed a whole bunch of clips last weekend of the E12 because I gotta break the news to you guys. It is up for sale and it was about to sell. You know, I had a lot of clips, but I guess I can't even use them anymore because things kind of changed. But anyway, I'll get into the story. Try to make it quick. So I listened to E12, had a guy who wanted to come look at it. The guy came, looked at it, loved it, told me how awesome of an example it is and everything. And then, you know, my price was high and I was very firm because I didn't need to sell it and I didn't really want to sell it, but it was kind of like, you know, if I get that, I'll sell it. Anyway, he told me his price. I told him, nah, we didn't even try to negotiate from there. They were too far off. So, you know, I said, you know, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. He owns an M535, very cool. So it was nice meeting him anyway. And we went on our way. And then after that, I was up on Marketplace just looking around and whatnot, and I found something. And I found something that I really, really had to have. A type of car that I've loved for a very long time. Maybe even before BMWs, but never really seemed like something that was in the realm of purchasable for me. But I found it, it was local, and I made the mistake of going to check it out. And doing that is what got me into all this, because as soon as I went and checked it out and test drove and everything, I absolutely fell in love and I had to have it. So I called this guy back for the E12 and I told him, you know, what's your buy it now price? We kind of worked that out. Got a price, scheduled a day. He came to pick it up and it was going to be my final day with the E12, and I filmed from that morning on. I filmed all the clips of me going to get it, driving it, the last drive, blah, 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 all this explanation. And then on the test drive, not even the test drive because he already test drove it, on the way to the bank, that pesky problem that I mentioned in the last video on this car came back. I thought I had fixed it, but apparently not. And it happened right on the test drive down the street from the bank. So long story short, the car is still here. I thought I fixed the problem. I wasn't trying to screw anyone over and selling them a broken car. And I'm honestly glad it happened on the test drive, because had it happened on this guy's way home, I would have felt really bad about it. And that's just not what I'm looking to do. I'm not looking to screw people when I'm selling this car. You know, I'm very upfront. And you guys have been watching my YouTube videos. If anyone knows, it's you guys. You guys know I put a lot of work into this car and a lot of care. So for something to be wrong with it is bothering me. And I did 100 things trying to fix it, and apparently I just had not done it yet. So that's where this video is now going to start. And the car is still having the issue where you rev it and it'll just fall flat on its face. So now I'm trying to fix that. I feel like it's a fuel related issue just because like how it occurs and stuff. So basically what I got here is I got a fuel pressure, or I guess not even fuel pressure, but a pressure gauge in whatever. And I have it hooked up straight up to the cold start line. So this line comes right off the rail and goes into the cold start valve to give this car the additional fuel it needs on a cold start. So I was gonna tap into the feed, and then I just realized that this should work because it comes right out of the rail. So I got this hooked up, and while it's too short because I wasn't able to get a union to put another hose on, because my goal is to have a hose long enough to reach into the car so I can watch it while I'm driving. But what I'm gonna do anyway is leave it in here, go for a ride until it has its issues, and then I'm going to kind of pull over and rev it by hand, and the issues should persist as long as it's soon enough after I kind of, you know, pull over the car. And then I'm gonna do it by hand and see if this basically falls off. So if that fuel pressure basically plummets, then I know it's for sure the fuel system, like I already thought. So that's my plan. If it's not fuel related, meaning like this, the numbers are fine on this, then basically that leaves me with airflow meter and a ECU, because I have done everything else to this car. There is not a single really thing otherwise. It's not TPS because whether you ease into throttle or floor it, it happens. So I'm pretty sure it's not TPS. Vacuum limiter is original, but I doubt that would mess with it. And the FPR, but I don't think FPR would necessarily shut off like a, you know, shut off the car, totally stop it from running. I think it would just be running bad, you know, air fuel mixture. But anyway, I'm gonna start it, see what the gauge is reading, and take it for a drive and kind of figure it out. It's a freaking crappy, rainy, cold day. It's September now, and it's already like 60s. I'm in the hoodie, so kind of getting sad because we're coming to an end on this year, and that means the cars are gonna start going away. And that's why, you know, I listed the E12 up for sale, because when it comes down to it, this car is just so clean and so mint that I have a hard time driving it myself, because it's just nerve-wracking being out there driving and all that, and it's just, I feel bad about it, and I'm just not in a position to really store cars like that. Like, this car basically sits in my grandfather's garage 7 days a week. I take it out maybe once, and it really just serves no purpose. Like, you know, it's not, I love it, don't get me wrong, but if we're talking like fun factor, you know, this is fun, the E34 is fun. It's, you know, it's old, slow BMW, and it's just more so nerve-wracking to drive than anything else, and because of that, I think it's just better off if I let it go to someone who's gonna really enjoy it and hold on to it. If I could, I would throw this thing in a warehouse and I would sit on it for my life. I would never get rid of it, right? But I'm not in a position to just store cars like that. That's my reasoning. Sorry, but as you know, I gotta kind of play it smart. And now that I've actually bought this other car, which wasn't supposed to come until after I sold this, so I really just made a really stupid financial and space decision. But whatever, sometimes you gotta just follow your heart. So it was basically my 1,000 sub gift to myself, that new car. So I'll show you guys that in the next video, or maybe the video will come before this, whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna fire this thing up and we're gonna see what we're getting a baseline reading and go from there. All right, so we got the E12 on, and let's see what we got for fuel pressure. All right, so we do have a reading, because so this system's working. We're at about 30 PSI on the dot. I don't know for sure the number, but I'm pretty sure 30 PSI is a little low for one of these BMWs. I'm pretty sure idling fuel pressure on like an E34 is like 50, like an M50, obviously different motor, but I'm gonna have to check into that. But right off the bat, I think that's low, so that's kind of odd. I'm gonna give it some revs and see what happens there. Fuel pressure is supposed to increase with revs, so that'll be a nice right off the bat to tell me. So let me try to set this up and not fall into the engine. And let's hold this here. All right, so as you guys see there, the fuel pressure is actually dropping with revs. That's 2 red flags in the fuel department. So I guess I'm gonna go for that ride and see, and wait for the bottom to come back, and then, you know, see if the fuel pressure actually tanks. And then that'll be for sure, that'll be the last nail in the coffin that tells me it's fuel. But right off the bat, something's not right with the fuel system. So let's go for that ride though. So it's kind of drizzling, so I kind of hate to have this thing out right now, but I just gotta get this figured out. This problem's bothering me. I want this thing fixed, because now that I bought the new car, I really could use this thing gone. But yeah, I'm gonna wait for the problem to come back. All right, well, that didn't take long. Here's the problem. So I'm gonna pull over and give it some revs at idle and watch what happens. All right, that is all we had to see, ladies and gentlemen. As you see, as I revved it higher and higher, the gauge was plummeting, and ended up at 0. So, as I suspected from the start, something is not right with the fuel system. It is absolutely losing all of its fuel pressure as I rev it. So, now we dig. Now we see what needs to be done to the fuel system. All right, so we made it back. The proof is in the fuel pressure gauge. So right now we're still chilling at 30. It's gonna go down since it's shut off. But yeah, so my hunch was right. Something is wrong with the fuel system on this car, which really irritates me because I have replaced basically the entire fuel system on this car, and I've checked everything on the fuel system. Way back when I bought this car, the fuel pump wiring was split, so I just rewired it, and all I did was twist it and tape it. So my first thing that I'm gonna check is to make sure that I actually did a good job of reconnecting those wires. Who knows, it could be kind of a shoddy job. I'm hoping that maybe I'll get under there and it'll be like obvious that something's wrong. That'd be really cool, but likely that won't be the case. Likely what I'm gonna do is reconnect them and actually solder them this time. So I'm gonna check that. The fuel pump wiring, that's my first kind of hunch of an issue here. After that, basically leaves me up here with all brand new fuel lines and 2 brand new injectors and 4 cleaned injectors. So the injectors are good. So I don't think the injectors are clogging. I'm gonna start with the fuel pump, check that out. And what I think I'm actually gonna do is, it just kind of popped into my head, I'm gonna hook up a jump box directly to the fuel pump and give it 12 volts. And I'm gonna recheck the fuel pressure and see if maybe right off the bat that'll tell me that yes, it is the wiring issue, because maybe with 12 volts right to the pump, I'll have better fuel pressure, and then maybe that won't have that problem. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna check my pump wiring, hardwire the pump, and see what that changes, and I'll get back to you guys. All right, so I have the jump box directly on the pump. You can hear it. And if you come up here and check the gauge, we are at not even 30. So that did not change anything. So I don't think it's the fuel pump wiring. It might actually be a bad pump. It sounds a little noisy, but I don't know how it's supposed to sound. I'm gonna unhook that and do some searching, some research, and I'll come back to you guys when I have more clear thoughts in my head. I'm gonna, just before I go in for the night, I'm gonna pull back out the sending unit in the tank and just check it out in there again. I'm gonna put on a glove and actually put my hand inside there and see and fish around and whatnot. I know I already did that and I didn't really find anything, but still. And then maybe I'll hook it back up and kind of leave it lifted up so it's farther from the bottom and see if that changes. I don't know, just at the odd chance that it is sucking rust in or something. But yeah, I doubt it. So I checked out the tank again. I pulled up the sending unit, and I gotta say, contrary to the last time I looked inside there, I didn't really notice, but I got a better look with a better light, and I actually scraped around the bottom with a pick, and it turns out that there is actually a lot of sediment on the bottom of the tank. Like it's almost covered, like it's not covered, but I mean it's there. There's a lot of rust sediment, and it moves around when I swish it around. So, you know, this popped in my head immediately when I was having this issue, because with a full tank, the issue is much less apparent, and if you turn the car off, it would go away for a little bit after you turn it back on. But so they were all along, it was basically telltale signs that something's clogging in the tank, but I was too stubborn to think like that because I really wanted to avoid dropping the freaking gas tank. But looking at it this time, I am nearly sure that the gas tank is full of stuff, and when the pump's on, it's simply just sucking it all up. So I guess now I'm gonna drop the gas tank on the E12. I really didn't want to do this because I really was worried about breaking it or something stupid like that. Generally, dropping a gas tank is just not very fun. I looked around and there's a couple mounting bolts. It doesn't seem like it's gonna be too big of a pain. I'm just worried about breaking something in the filler neck if the top of the tank's rusty and stuff. I don't want to damage it because I can't imagine it's easy to find a gas tank for this car. So that's what I'm gonna do now. It's, you know, it's not late, but I didn't really want to do this on a Tuesday night. But I think I'm just gonna hammer it out right now and kind of get this show on the road so I can pull the tank and clean it out. I don't know what method I'm gonna go about it. I've cleaned a couple motorcycle gas tanks where you just fill them with nuts and bolts and vinegar and you shake it, and that worked really well, but this gas tank's a little bit bigger. See, you can see all that. That's all loose stuff. And at first I didn't think that was loose, but it is. So I need to flush it, really, so a bunch of vinegar will do. And then I'm going to try some solvents, some de-rust and whatnot in order to kind of de-rust the inside. I'm going to try to do it all myself. I don't really want to take it anywhere. Because of all that rust that's been sucked in, I'm going to do another fuel filter and another fuel pump. Like I said, I get them free from FCP Euro, lifetime warranty, and those definitely have sucked in some rust. So I'm going to order both of those, or get a ton of vinegar and stuff, and we're going to start de-rusting this fuel tank. I should have done this from the start, but dropping the tank scared me. I never wanted to do it. I thought, oh, I'll get away with it. It won't be that bad. I'm dumb. I should have just done it while I was doing everything else. So here I am. But I'm going to wrap it up for the night, and I'm going to come back to you guys whatever day I decide to de-rust the tank, get all my vinegar and stuff. So I will see you guys later. That's all floating rust in there. That's all the stuff that was clogging my pump.